Well, you guys know the drill by now. Here we are, the final episode of season number 2, the finale at Abu Dhabi. Now, as always, before we jump into any potential spoilers, if you haven't seen the previous one at Brazil, go check it out. But today we're here and the battle for 4th place in the Constructors' Championship is on. We arrive at this race with a 10-point lead over Aston Martin, and it's myself and Rosberg versus Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll. Now in the background you've seen practice take place, and we had a pretty decent session, struggled with certain goals, but in the end we got a few R&D points. This weekend the weather forecast looks to be dry, and also here is the final look at the R&D tree, or the performance chart should I say, at the end of season 2. Now carrying on from the last episode, I'm going to bring this up real quick. If you guys haven't seen the Australian Grand Prix, then pretty much we had a gearbox failure. We had a brand new gearbox in that weekend, and literally within 6 laps it gave up and it failed. So I had to change the gearbox for this weekend. That does mean incurring a 5-place grid penalty. So it's not going to be ideal. I'm also going to change out the engine components and use the freshest ones that I have available for each part of the engine basically. So long story short, we're going to take part in qualifying and give it everything we've got and go full send. The issue is we are going to go back 5 places on the grid for the race tomorrow. So let's jump into qualifying. There's confirmation of the 5-place grid penalty. So let's see what happens. You never know, we might be able to find something out the bag and have a decent qualifying nonetheless. So you join me at the end of my first time lap in Q1. Now to be fair, I really enjoy Abu Dhabi in this year's game for the most part. Couple dodgy curbs here and there, but in general I think it's been improved to last year and I quite enjoy it. I had a decent setup on as well, and we go P8 at the time. So first lap done, I quickly pull over to let Bottas through. We now hop on to the second lap because that first one wasn't good enough to get the job done. We're currently P15, we're safe by about 1/10 of a second, so we need to at least find 2 or 3 tenths to be fully secure. So down to turn 1, braking at the 100, 4th gear quickly up to 5th on a short shift, keep the car nice and wide, flat out through 2, and then in my case a bit of a lift through 3. I wasn't really confident, I was struggling in that corner all weekend. Into the 4 and 5 chicane, very easy on the curbs here, short shifting, and then quickly back on the brakes for the hairpin. 2nd gear, don't use first, you just don't use first gear in this game pretty much anywhere except for the Monaco hairpin. Back straight, DRS open, let the car just breathe and, you know, stretch its legs a little bit. Into the 2nd back straight chicane, 100-meter board down to 2nd gear. I keep it in 3rd in this particular instance, short shifting to 4th, which is very important on the exit, and then keeping the car relatively close to the left on the exit to minimize distance to the next brake zone. Again, spot the 100 on the right hand side, down to 3rd, possibly 2nd gear, again depending on the preference. 4th gear short shift through the chicane, and then quickly down to 3rd for this 90-degree left. Back on the gas and a triple apex right, which feeds into a 90-degree right-hander. Try and straight line the braking as much as possible, don't take too much inside curb, it upsets the balance. Same applies for the remaining curbs for the rest of the lap pretty much as we go under the hotel. And then 2 corners to go. Now these 2 corners you can push the curbs a bit more. Important to not run wide or even push the white line because you'll get an invalidation as that corner is a bit buggy and inconsistent. Across the line we go, and we improved by near enough half a second, and that was more than enough for us to move into Q2. Confirmation on screen of the 5-place grid penalty. Nico Rosberg, by the way, top 8, P8, 29.9, looks very, very fast this weekend. So, yeah, hopefully, with my grid penalty, Rosberg may be flying the flag for us this weekend. So, you join me in Q2, and I mentioned before, I was struggling through this fast right-hander, and you can see here, we just get a snap out of nowhere, and it's a pretty fast one. Luckily, the car only loses the front wing, and we can keep going, get back to the pits, and get the repairs done. So yeah, the first run in the bin, that wasn't a used set of tyres by the way, so luckily we didn't have to burn a fresh set or, you know, throw away a fresh set. Now this right here is my last fresh set of soft tyres I have available in Q2, so we're going to give everything and see if we can get out of Q2.
30 seconds left in the session.
There we go, across the line. Unfortunately, a bit of a mess up. The final corner wasn't that great. I think I left a bit of time on the table, but realistically, when you look at the results, we was 3.5 tenths off the next car, so it wouldn't have made any difference whatsoever. We pretty much maximised the pace really that we had. I think I went faster in Q1 if I'm not mistaken, so you know, we didn't really fly in Q2. I think in Q1 I think I did a 0.5, so slightly quicker in the Q1 session, but still without the mistake it probably would have been like a mid-5. So that's kind of where we were at, really. There's no more pace in the car. And yeah, that's going to be it for qualifying. The final one of the season, a bit disappointing. Not what I hoped for. P14 with a 5-place grid penalty is going to mean P19, unless others get bigger penalties around us. But anyway, that's it for Saturday. Let's move into Sunday and into the main event of the weekend for the finale of Season 2 in Abu Dhabi.
It's time then for one final race in this year's Formula One World Championship. 2010 saw 4 drivers in contention for the title coming into this race, with Sebastian Vettel prevailing to become the youngest world champion to date. Is there one last sting of the tail awaiting us today? Well, it's time to find out. Here comes the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The Yas Marina circuit, just over 3.4 miles long with 21 corners and 2 very long back straights. There are 2 DRS zones going into the heavy braking zones of both Turn 8 and Turn 11 and offer plenty of potential for overtaking. The circuit comes with its fair share of tricky corners as well, in particular 15, 16 and 17, which will certainly test a driver's braking management. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of Turn 1, so how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
Well, the throttle goes both ways, Crofty. You've got to have the discipline not to try and win the race on the first lap, so always be prepared to lift early and give those around you more space. Trying to be the last of the late breakers with half a dozen cars around you may pay off from time to time, but it's also a great way to lose your front wing.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo and Vettel, Russell, Rosberg, Sainz and Max Verstappen. They've taken a grid penalty. Stroll, Hamilton, Esteban Ocon and Giovinazzi, Latifi, Martinez, Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda, Raikkonen, Lundgaard, Mick Schumacher. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Nikita Mazepin. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
The season finale is upon us and we are P16 for the final race in Abu Dhabi. As you guys know, we tend to go for the alternate strategy around here and start on a medium compound tyre. We're then going to throw on a set of soft tyres and then another set of soft tyres after that. So 2-stopper looking like the option here today. I feel like the 1-stop is definitely an option we may consider. So I'm going to quickly adjust the alternate strategy to just a 1-stop onto softs. But I feel like generally from my experience, and as you could tell by the lap time, the 2-stop is 10 seconds quicker because the tyre performance really drops off about halfway into the stint. So we'll see how it goes. Probably 2-stopping, and then fuel-wise we're going to run 0.1 extra, so not a lot. It's going to be a fun race. I'm looking forward to it, and let's end season 2 in a high, and let's see if we can finish P4 in the World Constructors Championship. Aston Martin are 10 points behind, so let's keep it that way, and let's lock this out. Right, let's do this. 5 lights are on for the final time here in season 2 in Abu Dhabi, and we're quickly underway. Good start. Very happy with that. On the mediums, down towards turn 1, they were going to be a little bit cautious. Gasly on our outside, I'm just going to give him a bit of a squeeze and force him off onto the curb. As we've got Latifi and Giovinazzi here. Look at that, Gasly just flies straight up the inside with the grip on the soft tyre. Latifi moves in the brake zone, I'm going to have to get out of that. There is no way we're going side by side through here, or 3 wide should I say. Up to the hairpin. Let's take a nice wide line. We've got Tsunoda looking around the outside here. I'm just about going to get ahead and give him the squeeze. Let's see if I can keep pace. We know Giovinazzi up ahead in P14 is on the mediums, so he's on the same strategy as us. as Tsunoda closes in on the brakes. Again, being a little bit cautious, and as Latifi and Gasly go at it, we're going to get the cutback, and we're going to get Latifi there. Can we get Pierre Gasly as well, possibly? He doesn't have a slipstream, so this may be our opportunity. Here we go up the inside on the brakes, and there it is. We get that place back, and suddenly we're up to P15, and we're up a place compared to where we started. So Giovinazzi ahead on the same compound, and I saw Stroll, I believe, ahead of Ocon, is also on mediums. Oh my god, I had to completely get out of that. I didn't realise that we've actually got some cars in the pit lane. Couple McLarens, I think both McLarens are in, stacking, and Bottas as well. So that's going to open up the race a little bit, and we're now P12. Okay, nice one. Let's try and make full use of that. I don't know who's in the lead. It's a Red Bull, but they're absolutely miles ahead after one lap. Let's hope Rosberg's in the mix. I think he's running in P3 right now. I wonder if we can get Giovinazzi here. If I can get a nice clean exit, which we do. It's going to be a similar move to the Gasly one. The difference is we're on the same compound, so we should have a bit more of an advantage. On the inside we go. On the brakes. A little bit cautious, but we go through. Nice, easy textbook overtake. And now we've got a bit of battling here between Sainz and Hamilton. All these guys seemingly on a set of mediums, so this is good for us in terms of our strategy. Oh, and Hamilton pits. Possible wing damage. Sainz runs in a bit hot, and I was wrong. Hamilton's actually on soft tyres.
DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
And look at this Stroll looking up the inside of Sainz. It does feel like the AI are going a bit chaotic in this race. The gloves are off in the final race of the season. Everyone's absolutely going for it. But Sainz actually, correction, I do believe he's actually on a set of soft tyres, I think. I'm pretty sure now, yeah, he's actually on soft, so fair enough. But this race has gone a bit crazy. DRS now enabled though, so let's see how this all shakes out on the two straights. But somehow we're P10 and on a set of mediums. I believe Rosberg's running P3, so it's all kicking off in this race. Absolutely insane. I don't know where anybody is. I have no idea what the net positions are, but it's looking like an absolute classic for the finale. Meanwhile, I think we may have a chance here to get past Ocon. A little bit of scruffy on the traction there, but we're going to get the run. We seem to have a very good straight line speed. I'm going to go to the outside this time to stay in the slipstream of the cars ahead. I'm going to go the long way around. There we go, another one down. Only Stroll remains on the same tyre, and then we're going to be looking pretty decent in this race. Rosberg in the pit lane. Another early stopper. Possible damage. Bit of a shame if he was in the battle for the podium, but we're now P8 in this race. I don't know what's happened, but the AI seem to be in maximum aggression mode, because I think everyone's just battling away and end plates are being lost left, right and centre. Luckily for us, it's benefiting our race. And look at this now, we're getting pretty close to Lance, who I believe is out of DRS range of Carlos Sainz. So this should be a pretty simple move, and dare I say, we should hopefully get the slingshot onto the back of the Ferrari for the next straight and get DRS again. Here we go. Stroll goes defensive. We're going to just keep the ERS turned on, and there we go. We've comfortably done it, even before the brake zone. A little bit hot on the brakes, as we have to compensate for running in a bit too hot. That's going to drop me out of DRS range of Carlos Sainz, so Stroll will get a second bite of the cherry here. We're not out of the woods just yet. Seems like we do have very good straight line speed though. Stroll closing in, but not quite able to make a move work. So P7 now, and we've got a few more cars up ahead who we're closing in on, so this could be a very good race for us. First warning for track limits. Just taking a bit too much from that inside curve, but the pace is good right now, as we do set a personal best. I believe Hamilton did the fastest lap on the last lap, 33.0. That may be another soft tyre on his car, but we're looking pretty decent right now. I'm just outside the 1 second window for Sainz's DRS, but I don't think we're far off. I think we'll get in there this lap, and there we go. Sainz in, Russell in as well. Seems like those on softs are starting to pit pretty early actually, lap 6, but we'll see who else joins.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Confirmed.
I'm going to stick to the 2-stop. Verstappen, Vettel and Sainz, I believe. Oh, sorry, Leclerc are in the pit lane. Perez stays out for one more, who is of course the race leader. He'll be pitting at the end of this lap. But right now, we're looking pretty decent, and the car is working very well indeed. There we go, finally Perez pits. So we'll take the race lead for a couple of laps anyway. as we match our personal best as well. Only just ahead of Perez though. He'll be on the back of us very soon by the looks of it, as he's already leaving the pit exit. Actually, it's going to be closer than I thought. Perez on the outside here. I'm just about going to edge ahead. Just goes to show how much of a lead Perez had. I'm actually going to have to let him go here because he kind of forced to move a little bit on me there, caught me napping. So at the end of the world, we'll get DRS for the next 2 straights to make up for it. But Perez having a very serious final race. He's super on the pace and quick. Personal best as Perez sets a new fastest lap. We're looking pretty decent right now. We've got this lap and 1 more to go before we pit. We're looking pretty good right now. So we're currently on the in lap. Pretty decent pace. I could probably keep going. The tyre's holding on, but I know what tyres are like around Abu Dhabi, and they'll tend to fade at about 30 to 35%. So we're going to box anyway and just commit to the strategy, even though the tyre, I think we're floating around the 30s right now. I just know from history the 2-stop is better. We've got a 30% wear on the right front. That's the worst tyre. 27 left rear, which is by far the best. So we could do the 1-stop, but I'm going to trust my gut. We get to push now flat out on soft tyres, which is what we want. So watch and learn.
Complete, go now.
3.1, pretty slow stop, but we're going to rejoin in P6.
Only 1 stop to go. 1 stop left in this strategy.
So now is when we make the difference. We've got everyone else on mediums for at least another, I'd say, 6 to 7 laps. So now is when we make the difference on the soft tyres, and then we're going to softs again, of course, to try and compete. So this is it. This is our fresh set of soft tyres. We've got a used set after this, so we need to make full use of these. So let's crack on. Let's try and get Vettel and Verstappen. Oh, Verstappen's pushing on right now, I've got to say. His pace is pretty insane. I'm not even really catching. I've gained like 3/10 this lap. He's really pushing to close up to Sebastian Vettel, put some pressure on and make a move. I'm on right now for a personal best by quite some margin. I'll say that. Bit of a moment there, but 32.7. Pretty good pace. Not the kind of pace I was hoping for though. I really thought I'd be able to do a purple lap out the gate, but we're not quite there yet. And yeah, the gap to Verstappen just staying around 3 seconds, but he's flying right now. He's putting a lot of pressure on Seb. Bottas in the pit lane for Mercedes. I think Bottas has got himself back into the race, to be fair.
Nico is just peeling off into the pits now. He's in the pits.
So Rosberg pits. But yeah, Bottas, I didn't really factor him in, but I think he's going to be in the mix. I mean, it's another set of mediums, so he'll be a bit off the pace in the final stint if I'm on the softs, but the pace ain't there right now, man. I don't know what's happened, but, you know, being realistic, I'm much faster now than I was in my old mediums, and even then, if I'd stayed for the 1-stop, I wouldn't have had enough pace because the mediums are so slow compared to what Verstappen is doing right now. So, just feels like the second half of the race we're lacking a bit of pace all round, as Verstappen does get the move done on Sebastian Vettel. Let's try and see if we can get past Seb soon. And Seb peels off into the pit lane. Anyone else? We've got Leclerc in there.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
Just a couple more laps to go before we pit. Let's keep the pace up. It's insane how the pace has literally been identical to Verstappen throughout this entire stint. As Bottas sets a 32.3, new fastest lap. Verstappen pits, up to P2 we go. We're going to box next lap. Time to box. Final stop of the race, and hopefully final stop of the season. Another set of soft tyres. These will be a used set. Perez has done his stop last lap and he's still 10 seconds up the road. Seems like the medium's actually the better race tyre. My pace ain't as good on softs as it was on mediums, but we're going to commit to softs anyway because they should still be a little bit faster. But for the AI, the medium seems to be a much better compound. Leclerc was gaining like 1.5 seconds a lap on me, so you know, for the Ferrari to gain that, that's quite staggering. We're going to rejoin probably near Sebastian Vettel. We'll see how close we are.
Go.
Good stop, 2.1, better than the last one. Still not close enough though, as Seb will be ahead.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
So top 6 quite comfortably. The target is going to be to try and catch Seb Vettel. If we can finish top 5, that would be a good way to end the season, especially with Rosberg comfortably in 7th place as well. 2 cars in the top 7, that would be absolutely ideal in my opinion. Now this should be a fastest lap unless the needle's been moved so much that I'm not sure. 31.9. What is the fastest lap?
Currently, the fastest lap is a 1:31.7.
Damn. Okay, fair enough. Well, I don't think we're going to beat that. So, never mind. We're not going to get the fastest lap in this race. Anyway, we're trying to close in on Seb. but the pace ain't there, man. I mean, I'm dropping Rosberg by like 1.3 a lap, for comparison's sake, but I can't really make much of an inroad into Cell. I'm trying to get within DRS at least, but I'm struggling to even achieve that, to be honest.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Cheers, Jeff. We should be able to achieve it here, though, and get DRS on the second straight, hopefully, if we use a bit of the battery. I just can't get within a second, man. What is going on this race? I don't understand. The medium has really come strong in the second half of the race. I just can't do the job. It feels really frustrating. Hopefully, we should get it this lap, though. Easy does it through here. I mean, look how much Vettel pulls away in the brake zone. Yeah, and again, I'm not able to get in. I'm in the exact same spot as last lap. This is insane. Yep, forget it. Vettel's faster than me. He's pulling away. It's going to be a bit of an anticlimax, this one, in terms of an ending. Just can't match the pace. I mean, I'm overheating the right rear like crazy, so I think that's all she wrote. Second warning for track limits there. Don't really care anymore. Just going to probably bring this one home. Sergio Perez is the winner. He wins the finale in dominant fashion. I'm just cruising now. I'm literally strolling. I gave up on chasing down Sebastian Vettel. And I think in hindsight, I probably would have gone for like a medium soft. That would have been maybe a better strategy. So 2 sets of medium is a much better race tyre. And then maybe something like 6 laps at the end on that fresh soft tyre. These used tyres weren't the ones. So it's bringing it home now, cruising through. But it's been a good season, good points, and crucially, P4 in the Constructors' Championship. Get in.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
That's it then. They've taken the win here as we wrap up another fantastic Formula One season. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
Well, there we go then. Job done for the race at Abu Dhabi, and your surprising race winner and podium, Sergio Perez picks up the W, Charles Leclerc P2 for Ferrari, and Verstappen P3 for Red Bull with a fastest lap. Bottas the only Mercedes in the top 10 in P4 ahead of Sebastian Vettel P5 for Aston Martin. We finish in P6 along with Nico Rosberg, both cars in the top 7. Lando Norris, Pierre Gasly and Daniel Ricciardo round out the point scorers. Stroll misses out on the top 10 along with Sainz, Russell, Lundgaard, Ocon, Giovinazzi, Latifi, Schumacher, Raikkonen, Hamilton a lap down. Not sure what happened to him. Tsunoda and then Mazepin at the back of the pack. So after 20 races and Season 2 has now come to an end, let's look at the standings for the final time. We finish in P5, which is absolutely bonkers. Leclerc overtakes Stroll on the final day, and Rosberg finishes P14 considering he took part in just half a season. In the Constructors, we finish in P4, and in the end, 14 points clear from Aston Martin. So a pretty convincing job in the end. Red Bull snatched P2 from McLaren in the final race, and Mercedes, your Constructors champions, and Williams and Haas with a big fat 0 to their name. So there you go, guys. That's going to be a lot for the end of Season 2. We're now going to move into the off-season work. Again, I'll save that for the Season 3 pre-season episode. But if you guys enjoyed this entire season and you enjoyed this race, leave a like. Let's try and smash over 1,500 likes for the finale. Subscribe for more. And for the start of Season 3, guys, notifications turned on, all that good stuff. And as always, a big shout out to the members of the channel. I really appreciate you guys, all the support lately over there. As always, check out 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them. And I'll see you guys in the next one. But until then, take care. And it's goodbye from me.